All right, guys, welcome. This is a video. I didn't really think I was going to do this. I didn't really think I was going to exactly address something like this. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't frankly care to address stuff like this. Typically, I think that it's totally meaningless. I mean, right? It's like, okay, whatever. It's what someone else is doing. But let's just be honest. So there's a lot, by the way, this is the Asmongold apology video. Let's just effectively call it that. I want to talk about something like this because, like, why am I making a video here about this? Well, I want to talk about the freaking simple fact, the concept, the idea of someone going out of their way in everything that surrounds this. We're going to be getting into this a little bit here in a second, but how someone goes about stuff like this, how you want to embrace this kind of moronic retard culture of modern day where you have to apologize to everyone and their freaking mother. This is, by the way, the danger, and ultimately the danger of multiculturalism, but even furthermore than multiculturalism, something that actually I haven't spoken about too much throughout the course of my videos, it's globalism. There's a huge problem behind globalism where you begin to believe that you have to, by the way, I do have a video coming out at some point on this topic, by the way. But anyways, and I have released a short on this. You know, it doesn't really mean that much, but still, you know, I've spoken about this a little bit in the past, and I have a video that's going to be separate to this. But I've spoken about this not that much, and the reality is that we see things like this happen quite often, and this causes a lot of problems, okay? Globalism is a disease. Globalism, people mistake that once you have a large audience, you have a globalist audience, and that because you have a global audience, you need to now pander to them. This is the thing, is that people are different. Different races are different. Different cultures are different. You have every right, especially as an American citizen, freedom of speech, you have a right to sit there. Yeah, that's so funny. We're not in the video yet. We'll be getting there. You have a right to share your thoughts. You have a right to state whatever it is that you want to think or say. This idea is ridiculous that you have to apologize or that any such thing as a freaking libtard platform like Twitch would ban you because you share your thoughts about something is ridiculous. You're speaking for yourself when you speak your mind. When Asmongold speaks his mind, he's not speaking for you. He's not speaking for me. He's a guy that's talking. You're listening to him. You're processing what he has to think or say. You either agree, you're neutral, you disagree. Maybe he's 50% wrong, 50% right. You don't know. Whatever it comes down, or 100% correct, doesn't matter, okay? You're sharing your thoughts. That's all this is. People have thoughts. People speak their thoughts. Let's be very clear about this. There's nothing wrong with honesty. There's nothing wrong with disliking other groups of people. There's nothing wrong with being honest about who you like and who you don't like. So, that is kind of the precedent for everything we're going to be talking about here. And that's kind of why we're talking about this, because you have someone that ultimately has a mob upset with what they said. Because, oh no, globalism, not everyone's going to like what you said. Okay. Well, I have no obligation to like everybody. Throughout history, that's always been the case. And I guess we'll just say this before we continue going into this. And by the way, this video is not actually about an apology. What this is responding to a mob and using a mob as your scapegoat for your personal life problems. Okay, here's the thing for Asmon. He's got his own crap going on in his life, his own things that he needs to solve and figure out. For one, there's nothing wrong with that. There's clearly a lot of things that he's never bothered getting around to. Like, you really need to be taking better care of yourself, and you just refuse to do it. That's a you problem. It has nothing to do with your views on anything else. It's not like, oh, recently I've been becoming more and more unacceptable in the way I'm speaking about people and certain things. Oh my God, I'm just so sorry, everybody. I'm such a bigot. Come on, man. No, you're speaking your mind, you're speaking your thoughts, you're being honest. There's no apology for honesty. And by the way, because he works with liberals, because he is a liberal, by the way, because he works with a liberal company, he comes up with these excuses, and so do the companies that he works with, to step down. Oh, you know what? I should be canceled. I should be fired. I should step down from what I'm working for. No, you shouldn't. Make whatever comments you want. Say whatever you want. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. The only thing I would hope for is that you're just, you're approachable to adaptability when it comes down to these things. It's like, you know what, maybe I wasn't completely correct, or maybe I could have phrased it a little bit different. Not like it completely matters. It's just like, you know, maybe it would have been more effective what I said, right? Okay. But nobody ever speaks perfectly. And only retards, literally, only retards, only severe autism thinks that you should speak with, well, okay, there's actually different forms of autism, but only perfectionistic autism sits there and says, how could you ever make any kind of error or mistake? Come on, man, just freaking grow up. Literally freaking grow up. Get the F over it. This is some guy's opinion. He's speaking for himself. End of the freaking story. Oh my God, end of the world. He thinks this. Whatever, man. It's just his opinion, bro. Literally, it's his opinion. You can disagree with it, agree with it, whatever. But okay. So he does this video, and it's ridiculous because it's like, what? You're seriously, you're giving into the mob. And again, this video is just a scapegoat for his real life problems. And because he wants to treat this as I burned down the village, and because I burned down the village, I need to make some severe changes with myself, and I need to publicly announce the severe changes I need to make within myself that I've been putting off for freaking, 15 years or whatever, or longer, I don't know. I need to finally address myself. These are problems that, with or without his opinions, these are problems that need to be addressed. They're completely ancillary, separate from the problem here. You don't need to apologize to anyone for your opinion. That's number one. Number two, your life not being put together has nothing to do with your opinions on anything. Because your opinions should be formed outside of your life experience, outside of who you presently are. Look at the situation for what it is, look at it for what you understand information to be, history to be, culture, society to be, and then make your position. By the way, we need global segregation. We need people who are in India stay in India. Indians need to stay in India. You need the Middle Easterns, they need to stay in frickin' Middle East. You need the frickin' Anglo-Saxons, stay in their countries. You need the Hispanics, they need, all of them need to stay in their own country. And then the Asians need to stay in their own country. Because this is just not working. And it has never worked, by the way, in Greece, in Rome, other countries, by the way, before that. Egypt has had its own little forms of multiculturalism. It actually didn't work out that great for them either. But there's a bunch of other cultures. But biggest examples, Greece and Rome. It does not freaking work. It always invites civil conflict and war. It is better that these groups have their own countries, have their own cultures, and that they stay separated, segregated from one another. And you know, tourism, okay, fine. But to come and live in massive droves in another person's country, enough. This causes so many problems. This has always torn apart civilizations. By the way, the number one thing that has ever torn apart a republic or an empire, the most stable governments all throughout history, what has always torn them apart are liberal policies and politics. Every freaking time. Feminism, egalitarianism, the gender crap, multiculturalism, socialism, all these different things. There's another one I'm forgetting on the spot. Globalism is another thing, but honestly, that's more of an internet issue, a modern day issue. But you know, if you do ever try to aspire for globalism, yeah, that's going to tear apart civilization. You don't want this. People should stay in their own countries. And before we go into this, I will finally say this last part. There's nothing wrong with saying what you do or don't like. I can sit there and say, listen, I don't like Hispanic culture. I don't like Hispanic things in general. And there's no problem with that. And the reality is like, does that stop me though from freaking sitting down and having a conversation with some random Hispanic? No. I can sit here and say, I don't like the X, Y, or Z thing, but I can sit down and like, I don't know, like just show up and go as a tourist or I don't know, something, whatever the frick. Just show up and randomly talk to some kind of Argentinian guy, okay? Something. And we can have a nice conversation and that's that. But it does not mean that I have to embrace your culture or I have to sit there and pander to you and be dishonest and say, oh, I really love their culture, but please keep me away from it. Like most liberals do. They say, oh, I love the black community. Oh, I love all these things. And then what happens? They hate it. They hate it. The second the black community comes rolling up in a freaking liberal neighborhood, they're all like, protective services and all this other crap. They start calling all the freaking governmental agencies and you're like, okay, bro, just shut the F up. Listen, you are not required to pander to anyone unless you want to subscribe to egalitarianism and be a freaking cock. Then you do. But the reality is, you do not need to pander to anyone. And we used to understand this. Masculinity used to be common in culture, in society. It used to be understood. You can sit there and tell a guy straight to his face, I don't like you, or I don't like where you come from. It's for these reasons. I have an entire rhetoric why I think this way. And then you can sit there and still have a conversation and possibly come around to liking the person or just like that individual person, but not like the group. This used to be the way it was for many generations. We all understood this. Nowadays, you have to be a coward, like Asmon's being right here. He's being a coward. The only reason he's doing this video is because he's a coward. He made his comments, he spoke his beliefs, and then because he can't deal with the fallout of a bunch of liberals losing their minds, let's just be very clear about this. Don't do business with liberals. And if you do, give them the mother effing middle finger when they try to cancel you. Go stick it up your freaking noose, you freaking raging retard. I'm not gonna do anything for you, and I'll call you a bunch of freaking slurs at the meanwhile too. Call you the N-word, call you whatever word. Screw you, screw off, freedom of mother effing speech. By the way, freedom of speech, the freedom to be a mother effing bigot, whether you're correct or incorrect. By the way, being a bigot doesn't make you incorrect or wrong about anything that you think or say. I'm sorry, it doesn't make you incorrect or correct. When you're speaking about anything, it doesn't make you right or wrong. Being a bigot is completely apolitical. It is a hijacked term and it has nothing to do with whether you're correct or incorrect about something. You know how many people, by the way, are liberal and they're raging bigots? In fact, really, truthfully, most liberals, there's more bigotry by and through liberals speaking their mind, going through everyday life, than an actual conservative. The truth is, and this is by the way, this is something that's just been truthful all throughout history. Liberals make up a higher percentage of bigotry. This goes as far back as, of course, the Civil War era, right? That even during those times. Something that people don't want to remember is that many liberals were also part of the KKK. Not to really trash on the KKK, but let's just, again, I say that, I don't give a freaking crap because moralizing everything is for freaking retard emotionalists who are so pensive and they're tied up in things that quite frankly don't matter. You know what I find amazing is how we care so much to moralize each other, but we don't actually moralize actual criminals. We will beat each other over the moralist head over everything. But then there's actual criminals graping and doing all kinds of other things to people, and no one talks about it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Why is that? Why is it that nobody cares? I thought these things were wrong. No. We care more that a guy shares his honest thoughts and opinions about another culture, another country, says one culture is inferior. Yeah, they are inferior. The Middle East is freaking inferior. Absolutely. And the only reason that Anglo-Saxon cultures right now are falling apart is because you're bringing in the other cultures that are inferior. You're bringing in the Middle East. You're bringing in Latin America into Anglo-Saxon countries. That's why they're turning into dog trash, because they're ultimately debasing and compromising themselves. So you're not wrong. And just because right now libtards like him vote to destroy their country and their culture does not make or delegitimize your culture as less than these inferior cultures. Okay? They are lesser than. It's that simple. Let's be very clear. I'm just going to freaking say this. If these other countries, specifically the Middle East, if they had the kind of technology that the white countries had, we would not have a globe today. Simple truth is that white people are the most diplomatic race to exist. Country, culture to exist. White people are the most diplomatic race. This is why you find that they cuck out their countries more than any other group. You don't see Muslims cucking out their culture to other races and other demographics, right? The gays or whatever. You don't see that. You don't see Hispanics cucking out their culture. You don't see the Asian countries cucking out their culture. You only see white countries cucking out their cultures. And all throughout history, you've always seen that the most diplomatic race has always been the white races. Why do you think that republics and democracies were most developed? By the way, democracies are absolute trash. It's empires or republics. But we utilized and we refined democracies as white countries for so long that we created republics. And that's really where republics actually grew to withstand themselves the most outside of any other country, Muslim or whatever. Republics were dominated by feudal Europeans. If you're a retard, you think that doesn't exist. If you're a retard, you think that Asians are Europeans. And you think that Asian Europeans, that's so freaking, how stupid are liberals, bro? They literally think that Asians are European. Anyway, they think that black people are the very starting ancestors to the Asian European and whatever the freaking European is, right? White people. Anyways, they think all kinds of stupid crap when it comes down to race. No, Asians are Asians, Europeans are Europeans or Anglo-Saxon, and then black people are African. Okay? Enough with this freaking, let's revise race and all this trash. Yeah, probably long ago, maybe black people and Asian people and white people all shared the same continent, right? But clearly, even then, they were all a part of their own separate tribes. And clearly, even then, there's a reason why all those separate tribes have separate places on the map to this day. Jeez Louise, man. Anyways. Oh my gosh. It's just, liberals are freaking morons. And they think they're correct about everything. It's just like, you gotta just call them stupid. Call them morons. Just do it. Stop freaking pandering to these trash clown mother effers. Why? Why are we doing this? These trash can clowns. Freaking A. Why are we pandering to these freaking morons? Anyways, I'm having to hold myself back because I want to just go into an even deeper rant. So I'm just gonna leave it there because I'm about to freaking lose it. Okay, it's just that there's so many of them, and they think they are the arbiters of truth. It is the most ridiculous thing. And by the way, Asmon, same problem. And this is the problem that we're about to see here. All right, let's finally get into it. Love of God. All this predecessing thoughts and extrapolations before we get into this. This is just such a stupid video.
Hey guys.
By the way, what is it with a crappy mic quality on this? Like, he uses a different mic for these videos, and I think he also inverts the camera. I don't know what that's about, whatever.
I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch, and also what my plan.
Twitch is a liberal propaganda platform. Of course you got suspended for actually sharing your thoughts. I'm surprised that he's been going on for this long. I'm surprised. But again, he's not sorry, and he shouldn't be sorry. The only reason that he feels upset about any of this is just the fact that he's on, okay, he does business with a liberal platform. He has a lot of liberal companies that he's, I guess, started or he's affiliated to, whatever his association is. And of course, they're going to just lose their minds when you do not align to their politics or you say something that hurts their little fifis. Again, what do I say? Grab your middle finger, stick it up their freaking anus.
Are going forward. I'm going to try and structure this video into two parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really
Yeah, that's liberals for you, okay? That's liberals for you.
appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I
Yes, you getting your crap together, which has nothing to do with your thoughts or your beliefs.
actually think that this is something that
Which are momentary. Because right now, what you're saying now can be correct today, but incorrect in 5 years. You know? Information, or just the way that you regard information can change. 1 second you can think, oh, you know what, I'm okay with Muslims. And then next second you can be like, I don't like them. Okay? You can change your thoughts. Vice versa. And what is so wrong with having your preferences? What is so wrong with speaking honestly? Why do people expect each other to not speak honestly? This is the deeper illness, the deeper problem going on in culture today, society today. Why are people so afraid to just be honest? And by the way, yes, again, as I said, this is the issue with globalism, is that everyone becomes afraid of offending each other. No, freaking call people the N-word. Jeez Louise, how many freaking black people, they call freaking white people the cracker and all other freaking words. They'll call you a wigga, they'll do all kinds, they come up with all these terms. Me? I don't give a freaking, well, okay, not just me, but you know what I mean when I, there's so many white people, white libtards. You have these, dude, you have no idea. I used to listen to so much black freaking music, and then I just started listening more and more over time. And I was like, this guy called me a cracker in his song. This guy just hates white people in general. This guy just wants to take all the white women, and he hates white men. And then it was like a huge minority of the black music, which, by the way, most of it was mainstream. Whether I knew it or not, I would listen to this stuff when it came out, and I didn't know if it was going to go mainstream or not. And if I liked it, I liked it. But there's a lot of mainstream stuff I would listen to. And then I would realize, oh, wow, a lot of these black guys, they love calling you their little white person slurs. They love it. And then for some reason, you have these retard white people that keep on listening and be like, I'm fighting racism by being a freaking idiot. A mother effing idiot. What the frick is wrong with you, you freaking clown? Anyways. And then you got so many black guys. They're like, they love white women, and they just hound for them, and they hate white men. And then you have all these cucks, white cucks, and then the ridiculous race traitor white women, right? They all sit there. It's just freaking, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and no one wants to call it out. It's disgusting. Anyway, I used to listen to a lot of this stuff. And then I finally started listening to all of it. It's so crazy. It's like white people, again, they're the most diplomatic race to the point that they just freaking throw themselves away. It's so disgusting how it works, but they do it quite often. White people, they're just like, let me sacrifice myself to the altar of tolerance. What the frick? How stupid. White people are so smart that they destroyed themselves. Every other race, literally, they have to destroy each other, or, they're so incompetent, they destroy themselves. But white people, they literally moralize themselves into their own death. It's freaking ridiculous. Anyway, this is where we're at. It's freaking stupid because, so many white people, they just don't care. You have all these black people, they just trash on white people all day, every day. White people don't care. But it's like the second you want to offend any melanated group of person, and it's like, it's pitchforks and freaking aloha, other things. Right? It's let me chant my final expression of spiritual restoration upon your people. How do you like planes, right? That kind of freaking crap. I mean, it's just so crazy because, like, white people, you call them anything all day, no problem, no one cares. The second you offend our freaking well-begotten and holy minorities, and then suddenly it's war on Earth, which is so. And then it's just one more thing on this. Mother effer, bro. These freaking minorities who want to go to war with the freaking white man every day. It's like, you mother effers could have gotten nuked on the freaking face of the earth. Literally. It's so crazy because it's like, you want to trash on the white man, and the white man had all the power for many decades, even today, to freaking wipe you off the map. This is all getting so tiring. All this pandering, all this politics. You can't offend anybody. If you do try to offend anyone, especially outside of white people, then it's freaking war, right? Apparently, or something like, I don't know. Everyone wants to get upset. It's just like, get over it. Literally, stop pandering to each other. Jeez Louise, call each other slurs. I don't give a freaking crap. By the way, I don't like slurs personally, just speaking for myself. I don't like them. But again, we give words all these powers that don't even exist. It's like, it's like if you say the N-word, you're summoning the Grim Reaper for some random black kid in some city somewhere. Like 15,000 Grim Reapers. You say the N-word one time, and the Grim Reaper just comes up to a freaking kid giving a speech in front of his class at school, and he just cuts the kid's head off with the freaking scythe, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest. Jeez Louise, man. Enough. Just enough with the pandering, bro, and giving all this power to the freaking, these words. It's just words. Get the frick over it. Because, again, everyone laughs when a black person says cracker and all their other terms. They say all kinds of stuff. Everyone laughs. Everyone acts like there's no Grim Reaper. So, Okay, this goes into another whole conversation. No, we're not going into it. There's so many layers of retardation with all this. Just get over it, bro. It's just words. Asmongold in his freaking words. It's just his thoughts and opinions. You got your own thoughts and opinions. Freaking man up and live with it. Holy crap. Jeez Louise.
Not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that
You've been living like a freaking degenerate for many years. You live like a man that is just you're a scorn on your freaking people. You freaking sit here. You live in a pigsty. Many dudes like you live in pigsties. That's just a simple truth. Many dudes like you, they don't take care of their bodies. Many dudes like you, they have a lot of freaking crap that they need to take care of with themselves, and they just refuse. Okay, I mean, effectively, you want to live in the Matrix. You want to be inside of a freaking tube, and you want to be living in a different reality, and you want to have food pumped into your mouth and all this stuff. You don't want to actually exist. That's just a simple truth about what you are. And then there comes that day where you say, I should give a crap about myself for once. And it's like, wow, you finally came around on it. You finally decided to give a crap about, love of God.
That's actually very clear. So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about...
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. There's a bunch of Palestinians. They've got all kinds of opinions. I mean, should we all clutch our freaking pearls? Some of them are in support of their own country. Some of them are not. And whatever, a bunch of other stuff. Who cares? Okay, it's your point of view. It's your perspective. Jeez Louise.
Hamas and,
why apologize?
Some just general, basically opinions that were
Stop dancing around
the genocide that's happening there. And I don't
probably, yeah.
really want to mince words or try to I wasn't justifying or, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting.
It's not disgusting.
I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another...
No, you can speak honestly. Just say it. I don't care what's going on over there. I don't care, the condition of those people. I just honestly don't care. You can say that. Just be honest. Why do we have to believe that we're so virtuous? Because we're dishonest. Don't a bunch of people think that dishonesty is a big problem? How many people do you think give a freaking crap? How many people have to give a crap? This is a huge problem that's going on in a lot of westernized countries, and not westernized, white people countries. This is the biggest problem with freaking white people. They're bleeding heart humanitarians. And it's like, you care so much about all these other groups that you sacrifice your own group, you throw away your own countries, and that's what we're seeing every freaking day. Look at Europe right now, crumbling, literally crumbling, and they're throwing their country away to a bunch of minorities because bleeding heart humanitarianism. Let's be good little liberals and destroy our country. No, you don't owe anyone outside of your people a way of life. You only owe your fellow citizen, your fellow ancestral brother. That's all. That's the only person you owe anything towards. Same thing in America, okay? Listen, if you have a multicultural country, you don't have a country. It's just that simple. This has happened all throughout history, and it will happen right now. This is the issue. No one wants to accept it. The more that you mix up the populations of your country, the more you're going to have civil conflicts at mass scale. This is never a good idea. And you think that by embracing this, you're not just going to lose your country. Right now, for Americans, this is happening. I'm going to say this to you right now. America does not exist anymore. America's done. It is absolutely done because white people are turning themselves into a freaking minority in their own country. And the second you do that, listen, politics is racial. Once you bring in these other groups, these other demographics, they have very different ethics outside of yourself. They're going to create a very different society than yourself. Because yes, there are implicit differences based on race. There's a reason why Hispanic cultures look very different. By the way, something about Hispanic cultures that everyone knows. They're far more sexual than other cultures. Some of the Hispanic cultures, like Brazil and a little bit of Venezuela, have really hot women. Some of the other ones don't. But on average, the overture is that Hispanic cultures are more sexual. Guess who the most intellectual races and cultures are? White cultures and races are more intellectual. That's why you have more literature. You have more arts, you have more cathedrals and infrastructure in those countries. White people countries, that's why. There's a big reason for it. There's a big reason why white people countries had technology before the other countries, and it's because of the people. And of course, we know that Asian demographics, Asian races, on average, they're just more obedient. In some way, they're like more passive or docile, which comes with a lot of good things. Can also come with a little bit of bad, but whatever. You've got, on the Overton window, you've got these differences within these different groups. And then, and then Islamic countries. I'm not going to go into it. Anyway, you have these differences. They're natural. There's nothing wrong with it. But you do not owe another person and their ancestry anything from your own ancestry. And this idea that we have to kumbaya, share a globalist world where everyone just mixes into each other's populations, this is ridiculous. This destroys society. This is not a good idea. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work for America right now. America right now does not exist. It has become a new country. The Constitution is basically waning away by the day. At this point, it's like only 5% of the Constitution still exists. And I don't even know if that part of the Constitution has been redacted or not by now. Almost none. None of the freaking Constitution means anything anymore. America doesn't mean anything anymore. We've given our freaking way of life to all these other demographics and groups. Your way of life and your future as an American citizen is no longer for you. It's for a foreigner. Once that happens, you don't have a country. And I don't care how many libtards want to sit there and be raging morons about it and be like, oh, you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about. Don't care. I don't care what you have to think or say. Because all you do is destroy your own country. And I wish you mother effing liberals, I wish that you would create your hellscapes and that you would stay in them, because you always run away. Oh, let me go screw up New York. Let me go screw up California. Let me go into other states and screw them all up. And then let me go run to the states that are not massively Democrat. The second they destroy America, the second they destroy the European Union, they're just going to run away to other countries. Freaking libtards, man. Stay in your freaking lane. And when you ruin it, drive in it.
Force by anything. And I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say. And
Stop moralizing your language. Stop moralizing your thoughts. You literally said something that you think and you believe. There's nothing at all to apologize for. You spoke as you honestly think. And quite frankly, it's truthful for you, what you said. You said the truth of what you believe. It's like, I'm an American. I don't give a freaking crap what's happening to non-Americans because I'm American. I care about my people, my country, our problems. And I totally understand other countries giving a crap about their people and their problems. Polish people, I totally understand it if they don't give a crap about America and American problems. Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that China would not give a crap about American problems. Now, you're free to sit there and say, you know what, I kind of care. Obviously, I can't do anything about it. Why the frick does anyone have to sit here and pander to people? You're your own man. Who freaking cares? Jeez, this again is the problem with globalism. When you embrace globalism, there's this idea that you have to just pander to all these other demographics and groups, which, by the way, you want to talk about bigotry? The greatest bigotry is pandering to somebody. Oh, I look down on, because this is what it is, I look down on this person so much that when I say something that might hurt their feelings, I don't believe that there's enough resolve within this individual, that they're so weak, their constitution lacks so much, they possess so little within themselves, that they cannot sustain me sharing my truthful thoughts that might hurt their fifis. So let me pander to them and refuse to speak down to you in a way that I perceive I'm speaking down to you. You already look down on these people. You know what people do? Truthfully, people are not afraid. My gosh, this is so stupid, but okay, whatever. People don't fear sharing their thoughts with someone that they know can take it. That's just a simple reality. But a lot of people fear being honest when they know that you can't take it. Now, by the way, it's not completely true because it's based on personality differences, right? But like when we're talking about liberals, specifically liberals, they look down on you. They look down on you every single time when they're not willing to share their true, real, honest thoughts. Every freaking time. When they're doing this pandering crap, they're afraid that you're not going to be able to take it because they look down on you. Because they know that you're not stable enough as an individual to hear someone else's thoughts that are honest and true. When someone believes that you're stable, when someone doesn't look down on you so much as to share their honest thoughts, they will share with you what they actually think and believe. That's just a simple reality. Again, most liberals, they think all kinds of crap. Jeez Louise, man, it's so unbelievable. I don't even want to get into it. It's so freaking retarded. All I'm saying is, it's like, I could mention it. I mean, I guess since I'm already saying it here, I guess I'll just freaking say it. It's so retarded. It doesn't even need to be spoken. There's so many liberals who sit there and they moralize you for, race this, race that. And then there's a bunch of these liberals, they will pander to race. They will pander specifically. A bunch of white dudes will pander to black dudes. And guess what? There's a bunch of them who are either cocks to black guys, or they have said in the past quite frequently the N-word with the hard R. And now they sit here, they do all this freaking virtue signaling politics. What the frick is wrong with... Anyways, it's just stupid. It's retarded. I don't even need to mention this. But because I was already mentioning it, I guess I'll mention it here, right? Whatever. But it's like, enough with all this pandering. Okay? It's so ridiculous that so many people are so afraid of each other's emotions. It's like, just freaking man up and deal with it. Love of God.
And I don't...
Listen, I get it. There are people who are infuriating. But this pandering to... I don't even know why I had to say that. I mean, I know why. But within this... Okay, So let's just simplify this. Listen, there are stupid people out there that are freaking annoying, and quite frankly, they need to be deported. If you're stupid and you're in a country, if you have a certain type of IQ, okay, if your IQ, let's say, is beneath like, I don't know, 95 or whatever, you should be deported. You should be deported to a third world country. Yes, absolutely. Anyways, outside of that though, okay, so someone's freaking, what someone has to think or say, seriously, man, it's not that big of a deal. And we're sitting here and we're clutching our pearls every time someone says something that they honestly think. Do you really prefer it that people just lie to you? That people are dishonest with you? Is that really, because, liberals, they're so obsessed with morality. Is that moral? Is it moral when someone's dishonest with you? Or is it much more moral that, are you more virtuous for someone being honest with you, and then you freaking flip your crap out and you chimp out on them? You literally turn into a gorilla on the spot because they shared their honest thoughts with you. Clown world, man. It's like, make up your mind. Do you want people to be freaking honest or not? If you want to be moral and virtuous, then why can't you take it when someone's honest with you? Do you want people to be dishonest? I don't know, man. Freaking morons.
I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really. But
who cares? Who literally cares about that? Okay, let's just say this because apparently it takes a genius to say this. Reality is racist. That's number one. Number two, who cares? There are different races, bro. You're going to make everyone makes distinctions based on race. You know how many freaking Asian people only want Asian people to get with other Asian people? You know how many Muslims want other Muslims to get with other Muslims? There are so many groups, you know how many freaking black people are insanely racist. The only freaking race that gives a crap about racism so much are freaking white people, to the point that they destroy their own country.
But when I'm using language like Palestinians
yes,
or like the people
that's what they
there,
are.
rather than what my real language was, I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism. And
freedom of speech.
I think that any religion...
And also, by the way, religious extremism, it's based upon what you think it is. Quite effectively, it's based upon your ethics that you stand from today. And for someone like Asmon, he's an egalitarian. He is an egalitarian. By the way, what are egalitarians? They're Satanists. What is a form of Satanism? Atheism, of course. By the way, I can't believe people can't even, that's literally... A form of Satanism is atheism, to completely denounce God. Ultimately, you do end up in the end choosing a new God, whether it's materialism or whatever. But there's some people, they literally cannot understand that Satanism is atheism. Anyways, it's every time I see what freaking egalitarians have to think and say, it's just like, This is why today we have a problem with pseudo-intellectuals, because you have so many people that speak in such a way where they try to escape their own meaning. If most men today spoke like men and spoke honestly, most people would realize that things are not that convoluted, things are not that complicated. A lot of people today who are intellectual, they're not intellectual because they can actually sift through an idea and break apart a concept and analyze layers. No, most people don't do this. All they do is speak on the surface level, and that's it. Most people, what they do nowadays for their intellect is they dance around morality, right? I don't want to upset this group, that group, and the other group. So let me speak in a way where I avoid offending all these groups simultaneously, right? That's their multi-layered factorial analysis that they engage with. That's their intellect. How many people can I manage to not offend or insult, right? That is not intellect. It does not make you smart or intelligent to avoid offense, because avoiding offense is really easy. You kiss everyone's freaking tail, or you just say less. It's really easy to not offend people. The more you speak, the more you actually speak, actually share your mind, is the more you will offend anybody. That's just a simple reality. It doesn't take a freaking genius, except for nowadays, because everyone's apparently, by the way, people were much smarter 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years ago. People have gotten dumber. Now, I don't know what that's for. Could be stuff in the water, could be all sorts of things, right? Whatever it is, people are not as smart today. That is clear. And they're more educated today, and they're much dumber. I don't know how that happened, but okay, whatever. Separate problem, and honestly, I could talk about that problem, but that's a different video. We're not doing that here. But that is intellectualism today, is to sit around and fear the meaning of your own words, so therefore speak in such a manner to escape the meaning of your own words. Just speak what you have to say. It doesn't matter who you offend, because it's on them. Again, you only look down on somebody. You can only look down on somebody when you're not willing to share your true and honest thoughts. And that's what's going on here. He's pandering to this group for a bunch of reasons, as I've already stated. But part of the reason why he's pandering is because he looks down on them.
And any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in like kind of positions below you.
Which you should absolutely do. Because you should absolutely cultivate such an individual and such a country out of yourself that you do look down on other people. Other people should be looked down upon. Absolutely. You should strive to be the best man on the soccer field. You should strive to be the best man in a freaking, a math competition, coding competition, chess competition. You should strive to be the absolute best. You should strive in your life to look down onto other people. Because strength is always greater and far more virtuous than weakness. And if you fear to look down on another person, you also equally fear to be strong, to be great. No, you should always look to find a reason and an excuse to earn upon yourself to look down on others. Absolutely. This egalitarian thinking, by the way, what is egalitarianism? For the overwhelming part, right? Is to make equal of all things, is to equate the value of differences. Men and women, they're the same. Men and women are so similar that we can just make up gender now. The man who labors and the man who doesn't labor, they're the same in economical value. Socialism. Other races are equal. Egalitarianism, multiculturalism. Go down the list. And of course, atheism, that ultimately a part of atheism is finding equality in all religions. So therefore, pick no religion. That is the position for many atheists. By the way, agnostics, they're also Satanists, a different form of Satanists. Okay, anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Let's not get wrapped up into that, because I could just go on a freaking crazy rant on that one too. But okay, anyways. See, this is why I wanted to address this video. Because right now, he is representing all of the problems with egalitarians, with liberals. This right here is the problem with leftists. And you see all this nonsense. It causes more problems for you. He's not more intelligent for doing this. You're not becoming a smarter man. You're not showing off or showcasing a higher intellect. No, you're just escaping your own ability to think. You are escaping your own cognizance.
As gay people, women.
No need to pander to them. You're thinking like an egalitarian. For one, you're thinking like a feminist simp cuck. And then secondly, you're also thinking like a Satanist. The fact that you want to pander to the freaking homosexuals who are an abomination before God. And by the way, it is a part of masculinity that you fight for something, that you believe in something so much that you will fight for it. And actually, what he wants to call as religious extremism is just simply someone that has expectations of their society, standards of their society, and they want to ward off evil from their country. Because you're also basically saying this, that criminals do not deserve the death penalty, which is absolutely a position that many liberals for the longest time have held, which of course that just causes more problems for the entirety of civilization when you don't just give criminals the death penalty. And this is not, okay, I don't need to give a stipulator to that. I'm talking about real criminals. We've got evidence, okay? Love of God. Jeez Louise. Stipulations are so annoying. Anyway. It's that simple. No, it makes absolute sense why in Muslim countries, they do not want to be welcoming towards homosexuality, and they shouldn't be. And there's nothing wrong with a crusader-like mindset in preserving the value, the integrity of your society, in warding off homosexuality. And there's nothing wrong or evil about it. In fact, there's far more wrong and evil about popularizing, normalizing, or even tolerating homosexuality. And of course, I could state my own kind of position on it. I mean, ultimately, I don't give a crap about them, but homosexuality should be tucked away into the furthest corners of civilization because it is absolute Satanism, it is absolutely demonic. Anyone that says otherwise, this is the thing that so many freaking libtards don't do. Just visualize it right now. I mean, it's wrong enough that like two women get together when there's no man in the picture. But just imagine a dude penetrating another dude. I want you to do that right now. Is that not satanic? Is that not demonic? Is that not disgusting? Come on, man. So this freaking crap where we just want to look past, it is so disgusting and we want to look past it. What the frick are we doing? Anyway, it's satanic. There's no excuse for it. Civilization should tuck that away in the furthest corners imaginable.
People with disabilities, anything like that. I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that.
Yeah, because you sympathize with the weak, which is absolutely pathetic, and you end up with a civilization that's worth nothing when you want to accommodate those exact groups.
And I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort, and I feel like almost, I've rewatched the clip, right?
There's nothing wrong with it. You shared your thoughts. I disagree. Their form of religious extremism, sometimes, yeah, they seem extreme. Sometimes they seem absolutely unnecessary in the things that they do. I absolutely do believe in that and stand by that. But there's other things that they do we've already spoken about. No, I get it. And quite frankly, like, just look at the West. The West is crumbling, okay? And we are crumbling now within Western civilizations, specifically because we are embracing Satanism, egalitarianism, fundamentally. So you cannot sit here and believe that you know absolutely better when you believe in ethics that, quite frankly, destroys society.
A number of the clips, and it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things.
Major feminist, by the way, this mother effer.
I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism, and I am.
What is extreme?
Whenever I categorize everybody in the area.
What's extreme for you, because again, Asmon, your religion is egalitarianism. What is extreme? What is extreme for you is not extreme for somebody that knows that they must fight against evil. You do not, your religion tells you to not fight for or fight against satanic or demonic impulses within civilization. And I could say some other things about that because then that also goes into like feminism. That is absolute Satanism. But again, that would go just too long.
This like group, then I'm the asshole. And I was the asshole. I had a lot of you guys tell me that.
No, you're not. You shared your thoughts. You shared your opinions.
This is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for like 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into...
Now again, he's thinking like a woman, and he's moralizing his position, emotionalizing his position, saying that I've been devolving, creating this emotional narrative that, oh, I'm just losing control of myself, right? I'm becoming more erratic. No, you're not. No, honestly, what it seems like to me that what's happening with you, you were just sharing more and more of your honest thoughts and opinions. And then you couldn't bear the fact that it was offending some select groups of people. Who even knows how many there are that even think this way? But it was offending some select groups of people, which of course it will. Pretty much everything offends somebody. You don't care to offend, by the way, Christians with your atheism. Okay, whatever. Okay, yeah. But you could no longer bear the weight of your own honesty. So now you're doubling back and you're becoming dishonest.
The most mean-spirited,
No, you're dishonest.
I don't really even know what the word is.
And you're presuming how they
just like the most mean-spirited.
You're presuming how these other people receive what it is that you think or say. It could be completely neutral. They're hearing what you think and say, and they're like, okay. Like, I don't care about wet shop workers or whatever the frick they're called in China. Okay. Maybe there's a bunch of Chinese people listening and they're like, all right, yeah, I don't care either. Hey, how many Chinese people care? A genuine question. There's probably a bunch of people who don't get whatever, man.
Spirited, rude, like nasty, like just
Stop pandering to other people's emotions.
callous.
You can still care about something and not pander to people's emotions too, by the way. You can say, truthfully, I mostly don't care. Now, in the abstract, I do care about those people, but at the same time, I don't care enough. You can be honest with this.
A psychopathic version of myself.
How is it psychopathic? How is it please explain. Asmon, you need to actually meet a psychopath. You don't know what the frick you're talking about. I mean, unless you're turning into an actual psychopath. But no, there's no evidence of that. Okay, you don't know what a psychopath is. We know what a psychopath is. As I was saying earlier, we're letting a lot of psychopaths, for instance, into the EU as well as America right now, and nobody wants to moralize them, but we want to moralize this guy and call him a psychopath. This is the problem. Egalitarianism is a modern day polytheistic religion. Right now, what is he doing? He's paying his penance. This is self-flagellation. Understand that.
I think that I've been devolving into this. And
you've been devolving into absolutely nothing.
A lot of my friends have told me this. My dad.
Your friends are liberals.
Has told me this. He
You think like a liberal. Your father, probably a liberal.
said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down.
He doesn't need to chill out or calm down unless like situationally he does, but I don't know of any circumstance.
I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And
what's wrong?
I've finally had some level of accountability for that.
No, a liberal platform that wants liberal propaganda and does not want you being honest with your thoughts. They punished you. They punish people for fighting back on the freaking gender insanity crap that's going on right now, and also feminism. Meanwhile, they push for their own delinquency and degeneracy on their platforms.
And thank God. I look back at some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years.
Don't apologize. Come on, man. That's what you thought. You were being honest. You shared your thoughts. If you don't think that way, you can speak differently right now. You can be like, you know what, guys? I know 2 years ago I said X, Y, and Z. Honestly, though, right now, I'm just thinking X, Y, and Z. A little bit different now. That's fine.
And I don't think...
It doesn't mean that much, bro. It does not mean that much. You think your own way, and the people watching you think their own way.
I think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right?
What matters more than what any one person says, because this is the problem with liberals. They think within the domain of narrative, deceit, control, manipulation, but most importantly, narrative. Narrative is the biggest thing for them. Whatever they can fabricate as a talking point, that's what they care most about. So right now, he cares about every single thing he says because he's treating it like it's law. No, what is the law when you speak is the truth. It does not matter what I think or say. The truth can change. For instance, right? 10 years ago, wokeness was not as big of a deal as it is today. Wokeness is now a bigger deal. So what's the truth? Wokeness is a problem. However, declaring wokeness as a problem 10 years ago was not as big of a deal. It still mattered, by the way. It was still all the issues. However, it was not as big of a problem as it is today. The truth eventually can adapt or adjust itself, and you can move with that adjustment, okay? Or, of course, or maybe you saw most of the situation, but you didn't have all the information on some kind of topic, okay? Whatever it is, for whatever reasons you have, you can change your thoughts. It does not... Everyone watching him right now, by the way, they've changed their thoughts about a lot of things. Why are you sitting here flagellating yourself? No, you're sharing your actual legitimate thinking. And you can change that if you want.
But
why are we apologizing for thinking honestly? I don't get it.
there have been ways that I've communicated.
No, I don't get it. Air quotes. The retards. Whatever.
And ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And
no, they're absolutely defensible. Absolutely. What the frick is your freaking problem? Indefensible? Sharing your actual thoughts? Which quite frankly are not that problematic either, by the way. You don't care about what's going on in a different country. You don't care if it's guilty or innocent. Okay. There's a bunch of people who think that way. Whatever.
I think it's looking back on.
And maybe they're incorrect for thinking that way. Again, what triumphs above what you think and say? The truth. The truth is what matters more than what you yourself have to think or say. So if he's not abiding by the truth, then apologize that you're not being truthful about something. But that's not what this is about. It's about his narrative.
On it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, you know, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality. You lose a perspective on the world.
You become more informed. And when you become more informed, yeah, sometimes this is something that actually happens for a lot of experts in a lot of fields. I'm not saying he's an expert. This happens for experts in a lot of fields, like psychology, physics, or just the sciences in general, mathematics even. The more of an expert that you become, the more you begin to lose focus on the general picture. So, right, you have more of a micro scale view on something than a macro scale. You're human, you can only do so much. Do not flagellate yourself. Just be aware of it. It's going to happen. You're going to trip. You're going to stumble. You're going to fall. Sin is inevitable. Missing the mark is inevitable. What matters is how do you recover from a fumble? That's all that matters. Being perfect does not matter. Anyone that's looking, no, it's not even, it doesn't matter to say.
And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy.
Now, here we go. He's getting into his emotions. Again, he's an emotionalist. He's a liberal. Get out your freaking emotions. It does not matter. Remove yourself. Become objective. Remove yourself from the situation. It does not matter. This is the problem, is that he identifies with what he says too much. Just speak what you think. You can change it at any point. If it seems like the truth is more on a different side of what you're saying. But he's not being objective with himself in his reality. This is why he's being an emotionalist, because he's basing his thoughts right now on his emotions, not on reason. And that's why right now you're seeing his emotions right here. Just watching this. Just watch how he fidgets.
I
Look
feel
at this.
I feel
And I get it, it's human, but this is the reason why in this situation, this is why he's doing it.
so stupid.
Look at
it's
this.
Crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments.
This is a form of behavior when you're feeling this overwhelming moralistic guilt and shame. There's no reason for this. Absolutely zero reason for this.
Toward me, everybody is telling me like, "Oh, go kill yourself. I hate you." Everything like that.
Yeah, a bunch of people say this stupid crap. A bunch of people are freaking Satanists. What, you're gonna bend your knee to a bunch of Satanists? You say the truth, and yeah, a bunch of people are like, "Oh, you don't support Satanism." By the way, again, I've been pretty clear so far about what Satanism is, but you can think about the rest. Satanism is very easy to understand, okay? Feminism is Satanism, okay? Many people are Satanists now. If you fight against Satanism, the Satanists, they're not very happy. Simple as that. Who are you going to answer to, the world or God? Him, it's the world. For other people, I'm sorry, very few people. Okay, for him, it's the world. For very few people, it's God. Most people, though, are Satanists. So, I get it.
Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay.
The exact people that you spoke about and you called out to, all the people that you didn't speak out to, they don't really care. Yeah, I get it.
It's people that were Islamic and people that had fucking family in Palestine.
Yeah, there you go. He, because of this anecdotal experience, because he's dealing with basically a tokenized experience, you're dealing with specific select individuals from that demographic who are reaching out. They're like, hey, what's up? Probably the better ones of their group. It's like, you know how many, Pakistani, Islamic people, they reach out to all kinds of Europeans, and they get relieved of their crimes, a lot of them like reaching out to women, young women in the European Union by hundreds, and graping. They love that, okay, and other things. So you are using a tokenized experience that is localized to you. Yeah, you're dealing with, okay, so these individuals, you don't even know these people, but okay, maybe they're decent. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. I assume. But you can make absolutely generalized positions on these things. Like, for instance, because effectively what you were saying, and it takes a retard not to understand this, that there are the bad ones from this group, and that he finds the bad ones absolutely disgusting, okay, or, irredeemable, whatever. And he does not enjoy or appreciate or respect those members of that group. Okay. Makes sense. But now right here, he's getting emotional about it.
How humiliating is that?
It's not humiliating.
How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the...
You dealt with token individuals. There are multiple demographics within any population. You're dealing with a specific demographic. No, what you still said was correct, for as far as you understood it to be correct. You spoke your mind as honest as you were being. There's nothing... Again, he's thinking like a freaking woman here. Mommy got angry. I need to now respond emotionally. I'm being spanked. Come on, man. Freedom of mother effing speech. Speak your mind. If you're correct, you're correct. If you need to adjust what you're thinking, then okay. Then adjust it. But this is the thing. Liberals get off on this freaking crap. They get off on when someone bends the knee like this, like he's doing now. And again, I don't care about specifically his situation, all this stuff. I quite frankly don't care. But this represents a lot of freaking cuckoldry that's going on today with a lot of men. And honestly, I'm going to be honest. This is a form of propaganda that has taken place for a long time on specifically Western men, specifically a lot of gamer men. They think in this manner. And you see this freaking clown show nonsense. And it's like, be a freaking man. Own up to your words. Don't freaking cry about it. It takes a coward, and I mean it, to behave like this. And I get it. He's human. I'm not trying to look past his humanity and all of this, but he's being a coward. Own up to it, move on, and adapt to the situation. There's no reason to get freaking emotional and repentant about this.
The people I was trying to say were bad. And
yeah, there's a lot of bad ones there. Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones.
Feel like
and you know
such
it.
A fucking stupid asshole.
No, now you're emotionalizing it. And now, because there's some token individuals that reached out, now you want to make up a narrative for yourself.
I've always been I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist, and even
because you grew up when they were deconstructing religion,
very defiant towards it, and I've always had a negative opinion of religion, and I've also had a negative opinion of religious cultures, and I think that really.
So the propaganda worked on you. The satanic propaganda worked on you, which was working for many generations. It started with, really, all of it started after World War II. Let's just face it, okay? Started around when Marxism was having a rise, when socialism was having a rise, when feminism, when the civil rights dog crap was having a rise. When all these things were having a rise, that's when all this started creeping in. Slowly thereafter, this is the deconstruction of society and culture. Slowly thereafter, atheism comes in.
I think that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chosen to seek out as well.
Yeah, the pseudo-intellectualism.
I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced, or my own real life experience has been, excuse me.
It's anecdotal.
And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to like...
Speaking to those people, but not all the other people who are a huge problem for populations. Let's just mind that fact right there. Again, you're looking at a specific group within a demographic. Okay.
I
get that, but you're not looking at the full picture, and you're trying to pay your penance to the liberals for egalitarianism, for sinning against egalitarianism by basically propagandizing yourself.
Let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I scrolled up on their messages, and these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me, and I just feel like such a stupid...
You speaking honestly, and they can deal with
really
it.
Do.
You look down on them for the fact that they can't take it. And in some way, they look down on themselves that they can't freaking take it. What? You really think that you're so pathetic that you can't take it when someone says that, I don't really think well of that person? Jeez Louise, man. I mean, listen. Have you ever had your freaking friend tell you that they think that you're a freaking idiot? I mean, gee, people... Oh my gosh, dude. It's like honesty is a complete foreign concept nowadays. We don't know what honesty is.
And I'm sorry. I really am.
Stop being a freaking libtard about it, bro. You have dudes who will tell their freaking friends, hey, bro, you're a freaking retard, and they mean it. And sometimes, yeah, that's completely douchey, and sometimes you're correct. Just freaking take it, man. And maybe it ruins a friendship, maybe it doesn't. Just freaking roll with it, bro. Freaking A. Stop being apologetic for everything. And this is the thing. The same thing. This is the problem with modern men. When something bad happens, when your feelings get hurt, they allow it to become a trauma. The amount of moronic things I've seen where it's like, oh my gosh, this is my new trauma. You allow that to take control of you. You do not have real problems. Get the frick over it, man.
I think that it's extremely fair
adult
to
children, adult children.
And I think that it's extremely unfair to categorize everybody in part of that group as religious extremists.
Who cares? Who cares?
I'm really sorry for that.
Don't give a crap.
And it's weird because yesterday I woke up and I didn't know if I was going to get suspended or not, and I planned on streaming.
There's a bunch of them who are fanatics. There's a bunch of them that are trashy, absolutely trashy people. Who cares, though, by the way? It's what you think. Do they not have the ability to think of what they think for themselves? About themselves? I mean, you're not the only one with a freaking opinion about freaking Pakistanis and all the other groups. Why do you think it matters so much with yourself? And you don't need to apologize. This is what you thought, honestly.
And everything. And I actually got a text message from one of my mods. They said, "Oh, I heard about the suspension. I'm sorry." And I was like, I remember I was like, driving,
a liberal...
and you'd think that like your heart rate would go up, but if anything, I felt more relaxed. I felt like finally I have a moment to just take a step back and breathe and think for myself and just stop. Just like get out of my own head.
Yeah, because you're flagellating yourself.
Just writing basically a list of all of these things that like I think that I should be doing with my life. And this is going to be kind of the second part, by the way, of the video. Comments that I made were pretty much about religious extremism. I think it's bad, but I've categorized a lot of people in that way that was unfair. It's wrong for me to have done that. I said something that was bad. I should not have said that. I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't do that. I doubled down on it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. That's pretty much.
No, you have a right. You have a right to be.
I'm sorry.
You have a right to be a human. Process a situation or a culture for what you can see or think that it is or understand it to be, and then share your thoughts. Do we? This is the thing. These are conceptual mathematics, and this is what a lot of people just don't get. And when you are a moralist, 2 + 2 = 4. Conceptual mathematics. Man meets woman. Man behaves masculine. Woman behaves feminine. Certain psychological triggers go off, they're attracted to each other, they bang, they have kid. Okay? 2 + 2 = 4. That's just really simplistic. There's a bunch of other things though. It's like everything is conceptual mathematics when you get into psychological or like conversational problems, political problems. Instead of it being numbers, we're dealing with concepts, words, and meanings. Okay. The problem for people like him is that they deal with diluting the conceptual mathematics. enforcing these ideas or these interpretations of the numbers, right? I want 2 to be 3, or I think that it's inexcusable that 2 is 2 and instead it should be 7, right? We start doing these things where when we moralize our conceptual mathematics, we start to blur out the reality of the number and therefore its value. And therefore, when we compute it, we create problems for ourselves where we, right here, we might be haywiring on the spot, having emotional moments, whatever it is. But it is a computation. And this is the problem, is that sometimes, yeah, you do deal with blurry computations. You don't know what number you're looking at, but you have a good estimate, a most probable estimate, and there's no reason to apologize for a mostly probable estimate.
I don't know what else to say. And so, actually, I do know what else to say. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think change actions and change behaviors.
I guess you believe that.
So you can take my apology as hopefully apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as
right there. This is exactly leftist thinking right here.
I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do.
Changed actions and changed behaviors do, right? So I need to conform. And by the way, he says something even later that is a greater crystallization of that, what he just said right there, that quote right there.
And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable.
Hold him accountable. Police state him. This is the issue with community. And by the way, I do have a video on this. It hasn't come out yet. It will. Communities, online communities, are police states. Do not forget this.
This time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it.
This is why community is such a terrible thing. This is why it's such a corrosive entity for you to attach yourself to. Community always turns into a police state. It corrodes the individual. And by the way, the devouring horde, the archetype of the devouring horde of the pestilent disease is liberalism. A hero is always a traditional/conservative icon. The hero is always a traditional or conservative man. Never is it some kind of collective or some kind of individual that is tethered to a collective. The collective wants to make you complacent and obedient. And because of this, you will never be the hero. You will never stand up against complacency, which ultimately equals what? Decay. The forces of decay, which is what? The forces of evil. And that's what we have right here with Asmongold, is that he wants to be a part of the community. And because of that, he has now been ravaged by his community, the devouring swarm. And ultimately, he is the sort of man who is too cowardly to stand up against the devouring swarm, despite threat of whatever the entity it is that you're dealing with, to stand up against it and fight for something that you believe in, right? He revealed his conviction. He refuses to stand by his conviction. Instead, commit to his cowardice, bend the knee, and obey the swarm, the pestilent disease.
Mouth is pretty dry. Anyway, so the
Bro,
second
you're
part
drinking
about
like...
this
This is what I'm talking about. You're drinking water like that?
I want to talk a little bit about my life, my personal life, etc., and kind of some of the points that I think that I've kind of gone through to get here. So the main thing is that
why is he rushing it on camera? Why are you rushing drinking water?
For the past,
if you're gonna drink water, just drink water.
So the second part about this is that I want to talk a little bit about like my life.
Bro, he doesn't even have a water bottle. Oh my gosh.
My personal life, etc.
Bro, how much money does he make? He doesn't have a water bottle?
And kind of some of the
He's drinking out of a Solo cup.
points that I think that I've
Goodness. God help us.
Mouth is pretty dry. Anyway, so the second
This is why he's apologizing.
Etc. And kind of some of the points that I think that I've kind of gone through to get here. So the main thing is that for the past, I would say 10 years or so, if you look at my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I think
Absolutely. And it's clear, and you probably need to be living more of a life, doing more things outside of any kind of content creation, as he's about to say here.
That what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that I'm not even a person.
Hyper-focused. Hyper-focused to the point that you're not feeding other elements of yourself. Clearly, he's not working out much.
Dark Souls, I'm going hollow.
There's a bunch of ways that he could be improving his health, and it's so clear that he does not take care of himself, which he absolutely should.
Or something. And I think about like all of the, like I made a list of all of the things that I'm not doing in my life that I should be
And clearly he does not shower.
doing. And I was writing it down, and I'm like, fucking like, I'm just going and going and going. I'm like, oh my God, I think it'd be shorter if I transcribed the Bible. Like, this is insane. Like, whenever I have everything written down line for line, it's like, oh my God, I'm ruining my life. I've been existing, and
Exactly,
I want
yes.
to, at a certain point,
And that's the
actually try to
real
live my life.
problem, not
And
your
I don't think
opinions
I've
or
been
your
doing that.
thoughts.
And so what am I going to do? How am I going to do that differently? And what does that mean for
The only time you can really apologize for anything is if you're not speaking the truth. If you're going out of your way to lie or be disingenuous, then you should apologize. But if you're saying the truth as far as you know it, if you're being honest with what you truthfully know as you know it right now, there's no reason to apologize. A truthful actor has nothing to apologize for. Only a deceitful actor ever has any kind of penance to pay for.
my stream?
Because again, sinning is to miss the mark. When you lie, you deceive, whatever it is, when you try to skew yourself from the truth, from accuracy, you will always miss the mark. You should always apologize for sin. However, when you are not going out of your way to miss the mark, and you're going instead out of your way to be as accurate as possible, despite your own deficiencies, there's nothing to apologize for.
Etc. I think that I'm going to cut down a little bit on streaming quite as much.
Yeah, you should.
I think I'm also going to cut down. This is going to sound like
Of course, this is a very difficult decision to make because it's like you have to reform your behaviors. And the most difficult element of reforming your behaviors and your lifestyle is, okay, so what do I do instead of this today? What do I do on this day? What do I do on that day? How do I fill in for these slots that I usually do this thing for? What do I replace that with? And that's what makes it so easy to just gradually fall back into what it is that you typically do because you don't know what to replace it with that's also rewarding, right? If Asmongold has a friend, he sits here and he wants to change his lifestyle. If he had a friend that is really good at helping him build up and bulk out, build up muscle, bulk it out, become really buff, and improve his health all around, right? For instance, get hair plugs or whatever the frick it's called. Do a whole bunch of things. He has the money, he has the ability to do everything and get on all kinds of things. Asmongold could completely transform himself if he knows the kind of guy that can do this, do that, do this, and he goes through all those steps with him, then he can easily start replacing a lot of his lifestyle that he has right now. And then if he has a friend that's like, yo, bro, I know all these hot chicks. Okay, you're working on yourself, you're looking good, you're dressing better, you are not a pig anymore. I know all these hot chicks, you can meet them and we can talk to them. Very quickly, he can replace a lot of his lifestyle now. It's just whether or not he has it readily available to do everything that he wants out of his life, right? And that's the biggest problem for him is that whether or not he can actually replace some of the elements that he's not happy with in his life, can he do that readily and actively and is it available to him right now today? And probably not. So it's like, it's going to take a lot of work. You have to effectively go out of your way and really get for yourself whatever it is that he wants out of his life. He has to figure it out. And typically, it really helps when other people show you the best way to go about something, right? If he wants to go jet skiing somewhere, that's the safest area, best weather conditions, all the whole thing, then it would probably help if he has a friend that's like, oh, bro, this is amazing. These 5 locations are great for jet skiing. Go do it. And then he can go do it. But because he doesn't have the best knowledge of how to do something or where to go, then it can be hard to replace his lifestyle.
I hope I can say this in the right way. I feel like the main times that I laugh on my stream nowadays are when I'm laughing at other people. And I look back on videos that I did from 2020, 2016, and 17.
I mean, there's really no problem inherently with that, but it can be a very juvenile action.
And yeah, I've always been an asshole, but holy shit, I've been way more of an asshole. It's insane. And it's
Or
a
just
night and day
more
difference.
honest.
And I've had, again, everybody in the world telling me this, including my own dad, and I've just ignored
Everyone loves to moralize other people, but they never like to moralize themselves.
them. And finally, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe this is too far. Maybe I need a course correction, which is why I think that like getting
No, you need a lifestyle correction. It doesn't matter if you're a douchebag or not. Besides, it's you perceiving that you're a douchebag. Who knows if you're actually a douchebag? But if you think that there's a better way to conduct yourself, then absolutely do it.
suspended in this, I hope that it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And I don't know whether that's going to be true, but I'm going to try to do things differently and make sure to live up to that reality. And so what are those things that I'm going to be doing differently? The first thing is that I think I'm going to try. I've been very much trying to like maintain a consistent schedule with my stream, and I will continue to do that. I want to get up and go to bed at relatively the same time. I want to live a normal life. And also I
Makes
want
sense.
to spend maybe a little bit less time streaming, and I want to spend more time creating my own videos and doing my own things. And
Makes
spending
sense.
time on things that I really enjoy, and basically just like expanding
Doing something that has more meaning, behaving in such a way that seems to have more reliability and probably increases your health. Okay.
my existence as a person. I think that ever since I started like OTK and I got involved with that, and then we had like other Starforge and like Mad Mushroom and Mythic and everything, like I honestly, it's been too much for me to handle. It's been completely too much for me to handle, and I've been losing my mind dealing with it, and I try to hide it.
So you're probably micromanaging something that you don't have enough time for, which probably means that you're going to need to externalize all that
The best I can, because you know I try to do the best, right? I try to do my
and just accept the sacrifices that comes with externalizing, because you have to find someone in the ideal situation. You need to find someone that you can trust, and that can be really difficult to find, is sourcing trustworthy people to hand over a lot of authority for something that you want to be done within a certain layer of quality. Or maybe it's something that you personally want to do and you're having a hard time finding time for it. So then it's like, why even have someone else do it?
best. You know, it doesn't matter how hard it gets. You just
That's the issue, by the way, with AI. AI is going to be doing a lot of things going into the future. But the issue with that is that there's a lot of people that want to do things themselves. You know, and so like that's the biggest issue. Is like you have certain engineers, they want to work out the mathematics to make a bridge. It's like it takes the joy out of it if you're just allowing an AI system to do all that. So that's the issue, is that sometimes externalizing something from yourself, it frees a lot of time for yourself, but then it also ruins all that potential of expressing yourself by performing something.
keep going. You just
It's also a form of proving yourself as well, competency, whatnot. Especially for a man, it's such a big deal. I mean, I'm sure women don't really have an issue. Well, okay, actually, for different reasons.
keep going. It doesn't matter.
That's a
And
different
eventually
conversation.
It does matter, and I think that I've negatively affected a lot of them. And I also don't want to talk about that just in the context of just like this recent controversy. I want to talk about this in the context of the last 2 years. I think that I haven't really been able to fulfill my responsibilities as a leader in a lot of cases to them, and I think that I've let a lot of people down. And there have been things that I've done that are positive as well. But I think that one thing this thing has taught me, this whole situation has taught me, it's made me realize, is that I need to get myself in check. I need to get my mind under control. I need to like just get my life done. I need to fix my fucking life. Like it's insane. Like I think about it and it's in shambles. Everything about my life is basically fucked. And I'm gonna take a step back from all of that. I'm gonna step away from my leadership position and OTK and Starforge and everything. I want to, and they're fine with that. They respect that, and I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone.
You're gonna need to
And
reach
I
out
wanna
to people
apologize
for
to all
that.
you guys, my viewers, that I don't think I've lived up to that. I think that I can be a lot better than what I am right now. And
You're gonna need to
I don't
reach
even
out to
think
other
that
people for
I've
that.
been putting in half the effort that I should be in the way that I should be.
You're gonna
And I'm
need to
sorry.
reach out to other
And
people.
so my plan is to, when I get unbanned, I'll keep streaming regularly, right? And I want to focus more on trying to do
Bro, these woke platforms are so freaking gay.
things that are fun, trying to laugh more with people rather than at people.
Or no, it doesn't. Stop moralizing it. It doesn't matter. I mean, just find something that's worthy of laughing at, and maybe question what you find worthy of laughing at. That's probably what matters more.
I'll still laugh at people every once in a while.
Maybe you need to sophisticate your mind even further. Maybe you laugh at really juvenile things, and maybe you need to sharpen your mind in a certain way that makes you laugh at things that has more substance to itself. Maybe that. I don't know.
Okay, like let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it's about a focus, and it's about a tone. I listen to my tone in the clip,
Who cares about your tone?
and I just sound
Only women care about it's how you sound when you say it. Who cares?
like such a piece of shit. Really, at the end of the day, it's not like a
No, there's probably no problem. There's probably no problem. It's really just the way that you live your life. That's it. That's all you have. You have a problem with who you are day in and day out, not with what you say.
piece of shit. I sound like a terrible person. And it's just so mean-spirited and callous.
Who cares? No, being mean-spirited is totally fine. Being callous is totally fine. And okay, we're not going to go. That could go into a whole other conversation, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just you're not happy with your life. In a lot of ways, you shouldn't be. It's really easy to get your crap together, but you refuse to do it. So just put the work in and get it together. And it is way easier to say it than to actually do it. But he has, right now, the biggest thing he has the availability of a network. Because there are dudes that can help him get in better shape. And they will do it for him. And there's a bunch of other dudes that will help him. He has the money to do a lot of things. He could get his life together much more readily than anyone else. But he needs to put the work in. And he needs to be willing to get, he needs to have the conviction to actually do something about himself and his situation.
Mean. And I don't want to be that person anymore. And
Stop apologizing. Stop emotionalizing. Get over the freaking. I feel this. I feel that.
I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that
it's just because you're an atheist.
I've always read a lot of very bad things.
There's not that much wrong. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. People are annoying, but there's nothing wrong with Christianity.
And I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all of this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself.
Good luck with that.
I want to see it for a historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul and Turkey.
Good luck with that.
There's no ulterior motive there at all. But it's not just that. I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places. I mean, the truth is that, and this is the worst thing about what I said, some of the places I would want to visit, I might not be able to because of the way that they're like just the internal strife, the actual literal wars that are going on, people being literally killed there, and I might not be able to do that. But I want to do it, and I want to see it for myself because I don't like believing what people tell me. And I think that when I do, I end up being a fool. And I want to see it. I want to see it for myself, and I want to experience it, and I want to live my life. And
man, he is forcing himself so hard because he had the mob come after him. He is really forcing this kind of resolution for himself. This is not coming from him. And the biggest issue with this is that this is performative apology rather than an actual apology where, sorry, there needs to be no apology, but he needs to make a resolution within himself. And this is not coming from him. This is coming from others. So it's like, who knows how long this is going to stick because you need to have a conviction within yourself that you want to change.
And I'm going to try to clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to
do it right now.
I'm not going to
Don't talk about it. Do it right now.
I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance. And I think I need to do this for myself.
Penance, but you're not Roman Catholic. You're egalitarian. So you're paying a penance to a different religion.
I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need a get out of jail free card. So I need to do that for myself.
You didn't do anything actually wrong.
Well. And I think also I want to live for the the idiots out there that, they're like looking to me to be a role model, right? Oh, not a good idea. But there are people that will see that and they'll think maybe to themselves, maybe I should do the same thing. And if I can do that for one person, well, I've already done it for myself. I've already done a good thing, and so it can only get better. And so that's what my plan is. I'm going.
So pathetic that some people can't think for themselves. But I mean, there's many more layers to that. I mean, it's not worth talking about. Actually, it really isn't.
Rethink my life.
It doesn't matter.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me. People I would have never expected reach out to me in ways that I never expected. And I understand that, I'm still very critical about, religious fundamentalism, right? But when you paint with such a broad brush that you just include an entire group of people, you're just being you're being a piece of shit.
No, you're not. You absolutely should do that if you want to do it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's stereotypes about people because there's stereotypes about people. There's generalities about people because there's generalities about people. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's like people said it was racist. I didn't mean it as racist.
Who cares?
But if you listen to what I said, it's easy.
Everyone's racist, by the way. By the utmost degree. And by the way, it's an amoral thing. It does not matter. It can be good or bad. Get over it. This is the biggest thing for modern men. Get over morality. Get over it. Does not mean to look past what is right or wrong. Or, sorry, actually better. What is correct or incorrect. What is productive and unproductive. Those are the things that matter. The outcomes and the consequences of labor. That's all that matters. But how you feel about something does not matter. Because how you feel about something, more often than not, produces no results. No results.
Easy that you could assume that.
Just get over it. Stop flagellating yourself and just live a productive life. Live a noble life. Live for an existential purpose that is redemptive of your value. Specifically, live, again, for nobility. Live for the ideal of, let's just say it. Live for the ideal of biblical superiority through in and throughout. It's very easy. You can start by just reading Proverbs and practice becoming a man of Proverbs and other things. You can look at other stuff, but add a lot more dimensions to it all. But you can strive to possess these sort of celestial virtues and become a man of merit. Ultimately, what matters most, and this is what the Bible ultimately talks about, is being a man of merit. You cannot go wrong, no matter how callous or ill-tempered or disgusting. Whatever you want to moralize yourself to be does not matter. As long as you're a man that is meritorious in his endeavors. And this is the biggest issue, by the way, with AI. I mean, I look at the future of AI and I legitimately have some questions. What the frick is that going to do for us? Because that's going to remove from men the value of merit. You cannot go wrong as a man when you have merit. But if we have a future where no man has merit, you might have a lot of self-deletion rates for that one reason. So I have concerns. I have a lot of concerns about a future with AI. Every time I hear about it, I'm just concerned. It's like either humans are going to eliminate themselves or they're going to be eliminated by the AI. Something's going to happen, but it's like we're going to lose a lot of our sense of merit and what it means to be alive. I mean, a lot of people, the only way they can stay alive is to enter the matrix. That's ultimately the truth. So I have a lot of concerns about AI just from a lot of angles and perspectives, but whatever. Anyways, I mean, you just need to strive to be a meritorious man. And right now, he's not striving to be that. He wants to be that, which to some extent, he should really reach out to certain people to help him work on some of these layers and elements. For instance, getting in shape. He can absolutely reach out to some people for that.
And so I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking moron. I've been an asshole. I think that I've devolved in the last 2 years. I think that I've negatively affected other people
There's no reason to moralize yourself this heavily.
too, in ways that I hate. I don't even hate to say this. Like I think I need to say this. I need to say it more. I've negatively affected people in ways that I regret.
And there's a bunch of people who would readily negatively affect you. It's not that moral of a problem, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Because again, this is the issue with these emotionalists, is that you think that every single little thing that you do is just scarring everybody because you allow the world to scar you in every little thing that happens. No, become more resilient and just deal with it, roll with the freaking tide, and be a meritorious man. There's very little that you can actually truly do wrong as long as you embrace merit. But, look at the background, bro. He's got a bunch of freaking trash in the back. Jeez Louise. It probably stinks in there. Love of God.
I think whenever I go back live again, I'll probably talk about that more. And, there's some just different people
Why am I... Okay, let's just finish this.
I want to apologize to and, take accountability for things that I've said and done that have negatively affected other people in ways that were unfair and wrong. And that's what my plan is. That's about it. I want to say that I hope that now, after you've heard what I have to say, that a lot of you all can see kind of why I'm saying that I appreciate this. I really think that this is something I needed, and I hope that this is the next part of the rest of my life. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to that. So if I'm being a fucking asshole again, if I'm being mean, if I'm just being a callous, acting like a
You're just
psychopath,
inviting the
treating people awfully
liberals.
outside of a
You're
well-raised
just
and controlled
inviting
environment,
them to
but really,
beat you over the
lacking
head with their
misfortune.
freaking morality
Try to
and
say,
their
"Man, just chill
religion.
the fuck out, stop it. Just stop.
No,
And
you
I'm
don't
gonna do my
need
best to
anyone
listen.
freaking
I spent 2 years in
babying you.
Oregon. Look where it got me. This is not even the tip of the iceberg.
You literally want these liberals to play the mommy state on you. You literally want them to step in and be like, bad little boy, bad 5-year-old. Bro, stop it. Lead yourself. Grow the F up and lead yourself. Trip and stumble and fall, but ultimately pick yourself back up. Don't think in this way where anyone has to correct you. Stop.
Iceberg of the problems in my life. And I want to thank everybody for making me aware that that's the case.
No, you don't need anyone telling you anything. You know what? If he read the Bible, he would not be thinking this way. This is the problem. He relinquished religion and faith, so now he's using other people who are more fallible than the Bible will ever be. He's using other people as his metric for his virtue, for his nobility, for his purity.
Say that's pretty much about all
This is the problem with egalitarians.
I've got. I'm sorry for a lot of people I let down, not just with comments like this, but also just with the way I've been doing things in general. I think that you guys deserve a much better version of me than what you've been getting. And I hope
You deserve a much better version of yourself. No one deserves anything from you. You deserve a better version of yourself.
can live up to that in the future. And I don't want to think about it in the future, right? As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior. And that's what I hope to do. So yeah.
One more time.
I don't even want to think about it in the future, right? As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior.
Better content, changed behavior. Spoken like a true liberal. Better content,
As soon as I get unbanned,
changed behavior. What's better? Means being more egalitarian, more woke, ultimately. Changed behavior. It means what? Comply.
Best apology is better content, change behavior. And that's what I hope to do. So yeah.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, guys,
Ridiculous.
I'm just going to focus on myself for a while, try to improve my own life.
Ridiculous.
And there's a lot of things I think, again, I'll probably talk about more whenever I go live again that are like more kind of, just like kind of in the weeds, like personal stuff.
Get the work done. Just
overall,
get the freaking work done. Don't talk like a woman.
Anyway,
get the
that's
work
about all I've
done.
got. And
It's all you got to do. Listen, man, I totally understand this mindset. I've been there too. Where you get so obsessed with speaking all the time on these things. No, what you need to do is just do it. Freaking do it. I don't really need to say it, but just freaking do it. Just do whatever it is that you need to be freaking doing. Just sit down and freaking do it. There is no purpose in you speaking.
I'm going to try to just take this time off to, really kind of fix my shit. So
you can start with the background there. Get rid of all this freaking clutter. Clean up. At this point, though, he just needs to burn this house down. Like, actually. He needs to move out, move somewhere new. Actually fix yourself in your life. Be more cleanly and organized. Work out. And then move out. Move all your stuff out. Grab a freaking match, a lighter, and just set your house on fire. Because at this point, it's a freaking infestation. And let's just face it. But you need to change yourself if you're going to actually do that. Because... or he needs to, he has enough money. He can really hire someone to just completely do an entire makeover of his entire house. He can afford that. So it's one or the other. Either afford yourself a new home or afford someone to renovate and clean out your entire house. Just strip it inside out and just make it anew. Whatever, and you need to freaking change yourself before you do that. That's the biggest thing. He needs to go on like a 1-year journey of proving to himself that he can be a different guy, and then he needs to strip out this entire house and continue transforming himself after his house has been, either he moves out or he reforms his entire house. Whatever it is, that's what he needs to do. And hold on.
Yeah, anyway, guys, that's about it. I'll see you later.
So what was I going to say earlier? Why did I address this video? Because quite frankly, halfway through watching this, I'm like, why the frick am I here? I don't really have a good reason for being here this long. But it's like, this is a problem with modern men. This is a problem with a guy like him, where it's like, you are the source of the majority of your problems, and you refuse to be the solution for your own problems, which you created for yourself. You need to go out of your own way and become your own solutions and stop talking in all these ways that you have these liberalized men, which is what? Effeminized men. How they try to run away from their own meaning of their own words, and they try to run away from, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for being honest about what I really think. Let me run away from what I actually mean by what I actually think. So here's the thing, I don't really care about this kind of stuff. It's like, there was a short period of time where I had actually watched some of his stuff, and it was like 2 or 3 months, but there was a portion of time where I kept up with Asmon for whatever reason. I don't even know really why, if I'm being honest with you, but there was a time that I did that a little bit, and so I don't know how much that part of everything really matters, but what matters most importantly to me is just the reality that this is something that the left, they prey upon a dude like this, and any guy in general, apologizing in this manner. Because for them, this is what validates their ethics, and to go after people and to pester them and annoy them and act like that they have the moral superiority, because cowards like him, they bend the knee. And that's what happens every effing time. And so because of this is what makes libtards think that they're correct. When really all you're doing is that you're justifying to yourself why you're going to bully this guy, because that's what they do, and why you're going to flip out, and you can't take a different opinion. You can't take it when someone, for some reason, you think it's immoral if someone's not honest, but then when someone's honest, you want to burn them at the stake. So, and again, we've already spoken about all the errors and issues with all of this. So it's like, okay, again, why am I here? Why am I addressing this? I'm here addressing this because this is a problem that we see with so many modern men, and this is not going to solve his problems. This is the ultimate reality. There's a lot of things that he needs to do, but the real problem was not sharing his honest thoughts and beliefs. The real problem is the way that he lives his life. He's not happy with himself. It does not matter what, and really, the only thing that he has in his life are the people watching his content. So then for him, it makes or breaks him, for him personally as a man, it breaks him if he doesn't have the community support that he believes that he has, right? So if he doesn't have the collective on his side backing him up, then he feels isolated, and he feels like a man without a cause. That's what happens. Well, again, that's a problem with you. It's not a problem with the people. And if you operate this way, then you're just trying to make the libtards happy. And if you're doing this, bro, it's an endless mountain that you're going to be climbing, and it's not going to prove any merit. What you need in your life is freaking merit. Merit is outside of the liberal collective. So clearly you need some changes. So pursue those changes. It's not that hard, but it takes work. So, and for him, honestly, his biggest issue would be money. For anyone, it would be money. Well, he has money, so he can really approach a lot of his problems and solve it rather readily. He just needs to be willing to go and do it. That's what matters most. And he really needs to get his act together, because it's not that hard. He's just refused to do it. And there's a lot of guys like him, but giving power to the left like this is not going to solve your problems. And again, man, it feels like a waste of time to address something like this. But for me, it's really important to just mention that, to address this as a whole, but to mention the fact that bending your knee like this does not transform yourself. And it's pathetic to watch guys like this, of this caliber, whatever caliber you want to say he is. I mean, he's kind of in the upper atmosphere, right, of people sharing their thoughts and opinions, right? But it's the bigger issue is how we popularize this form of conduct that is anti-masculine. Because he is defeating his own masculinity by addressing himself in such a way as this. And that's the real issue here. Look at the pussification of men in our society and in our culture today. This is what you see. right on the spot. This is how a lot of men act. This is how cowardly they are. And this is how they pussify themselves in real time. You are allowing a female frame of thinking to dominate you. And because of this now, you have now subjugated your soul by doing something like this. And you can walk away from this, but he needs to gain a masculine frame of mind. And because he doesn't, he is ultimately not a sovereign man of his own mind. Because of this, he is not free of his own mind. And because of this, he's allowing an ideology as well as a collective to claim ownership over his very existence, his own ability to think. He'll only think as far as the collective allows him to think. And that's a problem for a lot of modern men. They will bend their knee, they will subjugate themselves, and they will show how pussified they are when given the chance. And again, it's only going to ravage you further. You have to learn to be comfortable with speaking your mind, because it used to be so common for men to actually think and speak out their authentic mindset. It's only recently now that so many men are afraid of being honest about themselves and what they believe. Well, because of this, here's the reality. A world without honesty, which means what? Masculinity. A world without masculinity is a much worse off world than a world with honesty and masculinity. You need masculinity. You need honesty. And yeah, sometimes it's going to make some people offended. It's going to make them upset. Screw their freaking feelings and their emotions, though, and screw your own feelings and emotions. Say what seems to be truthful and what seems to be correct. And you can never apologize for that. Even though you might adjust over time, you can never apologize for being as truthful and honest as you can reasonably fathom. And here's something I want you to do, Asmon. If you want to really lay off a lot of pressure off of your chest surrounding all of this, literally just phone up a friend, grab out a book, and label them every single slur known to man. And then ask their mother if she's single.